Law school was a real challenge for me in terms of racism. I was the only African American in the entire law school. All of my classmates, without exception, even some of them that I thought were friends, whenever there was a need to discuss issues outside of the classroom, I was totally ignored. And I must tell you that rejection stayed with me for many years. It affected my behavior as a lawyer and as a human being and as a person. Because I never allowed myself to feel anything other than the anger. People were treated very rudely in our community. About 1968, 1969, it was a period of time when you could walk down the street or drive down the street and with regularity observe police officers with black people stopped in their cars and draped over the police car while they're being searched or interrogated or handcuffed. That was sort of the climate, and I think that was the climate that gave birth to the Black Panther Party. I would regularly assist members who had been arrested for carrying a gun or something like that. So when on December 4, 1969, the Chicago police officers assigned to the state's attorney's office, about a dozen of them, and maybe 6 of them remained outside this apartment where the Panthers were living. 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, early. People are asleep. I think there was one member of the Black Panther Party at that time, Mark Clark, who was awake and allegedly being security for the rest of them there. They came in with carbine rifles and a submachine gun. They riddled the wall between the front room and the middle bedroom. The young girl who was laying on the couch just laid down and ducked, but she was shot several times. In the back, Fred Hampton was in bed with his girlfriend and mother of his unborn child. Fred was laying over on his face with his head to the back of the bed, bleeding. While Deborah was in the kitchen, she heard one officer say, "Is he dead?" And she heard 2 more shots. And someone responded, "He's dead now." So we saw this as an outright, deliberate attempt to successfully take out Fred Hampton. Mark Clark was killed. Fred Hampton was killed. All of the surviving Panthers were indicted, arrested, and charged with attempting to murder the police in a shootout. The FBI, once they came in, the guys who did it came in and investigated it, right? It's an interesting part of this darn case. They are the persons who did it, who started the whole thing. Came in, made a complete mock-up of that apartment with every gunshot hole that was there. Dowels put into these holes and photographs taken so it became clear with the many, many shots fired by the police and the single shot fired by Mark Clark. Later learning all about it because we sued the FBI, the state's attorney's office, the state's attorney, and the city of Chicago and their officers. They are acquitted. They're not found guilty. The judge found them not guilty, as one might expect. The bench trial ultimately represented Deborah in that civil rights case. We were on trial for 18 months and lost with 2 jurors on our side and with a hung jury. Once we were given a new trial, I think it was Jane Byrne was the mayor of Chicago, and we ultimately settled the case for $1,800,000. for the 2 deaths and the injuries. I was glad to be able to give them some compensation for their loss. I'm 86 years old. And I've seen a lot. When I went to college, they assigned us a counselor, Dr. Bild. I'll never forget her name. Only met her and spoke to her for 10 minutes. She said to me, she says, James, I've looked at your aptitude test. You were average in this, below average in that, below average in that. You're not above average in anything. Now, you have indicated in your preference test that you'd like to be a lawyer. I have grave concerns about that. Any person contemplating the study of law should be above average in everything, and you are not above average in anything. I'm about to give it up. And then she said to me, so I think you should try something less taxing, like physical education. I said, okay, gotcha. You are a racist. You think I got some serious athletic skills. Hell, I was a klutz and knew it. So I said to her, I said, well, thank you very much, but I'll take a stab at it anyway. One of my motivators in my life was that lady.